Good morning, everyone.
Morning, Rabbi.
So today's Mishnah is a Schus Refuah Shalema for Chaim Gavriel ben Etel Gita, sponsored by the Garland children, and in memory of Lezecha Nishmas, Dan Betran's father. His yahrzeit is today, Yosef ben Bachar Shalom, Shem Shavan Aliyah.
Okay, this is also for my for Ephraim ben Avraham Abba.
And also Lezecha Nishmas in memory of Ephraim ben Avram Abba, Shem Shavan Aliyah. Okay. Ve'elu devarim amru mipnei darkei shalom. Now, until now, we've been discussing different institutions of the sages that were called for the benefit of society. And now we're going to talk about things that were instituted medarkei shalom in order to promote peace or to prevent arguments. Okay, you ready? Kohen Korei Rishon v'achar Rav Levi v'achar Rav Yisrael. The order of calling up to the Torah is the Kohen is called first, after him is a Levi, after him is a Yisrael. Why is this the order? Because of ways of peace. Now, the way to understand this is the following. Actually, according to Torah law, the Torah grants a Kohen the right to read from the Torah first. Okay, he's always supposed to be given the honor because he's a Kohen. However, at the same time, the Kohen is allowed to honor another Jew, even a non-Kohen, to go before him. According to the Torah law, the Kohen decides to forego his honor, he can do so. However, the rabbis prohibited a Kohen from doing so in order to prevent arguments as to whether his choice of replacement is appropriate. Like, at the end of the day, the Kohen's first aliyah is a very prominent aliyah. And if he gives it away to someone, that's a big honor. And aliyahs have apparently historically always been a source of contention about who deserves this honor and why is he getting the honor, why am I not getting the honor? And therefore the Kohen, the Chachamim instituted the Kohen may not give up his place to somebody else. Now, a Levi is called up next because this too honors the Kohen. It comes from the tribe of Levi. That's part. Why is a Levi following? The answer is it's all part of the honor to the Kohen who comes from the tribe of Levi. The Mishnah teaches that the Levi too may not let a Yisrael read in his place. Rather, a Levi must always read after the Kohen. Okay? Now, the Mishnah says that the Kohen, Levi, and Yisrael read from the Torah. That's the wording. It says, the wording is, Kohen Korei Rishon. The Kohen reads first. And the reason to use the words read is because in earlier times, each section of the Torah portion was read aloud by a different person. I mean, you got the aliyah, you learned it. Later, when many people were unable to read, it became the practice for a single person to read all the sections, so as not to embarrass those who could not read. And the person assigned to each section would only recite the brachas. Okay? So therefore, that is the first example of Darkei Shalom that the Chacham instituted. The Kohen is first, after that the Levi, after that the Yisrael. Now, interesting, I think there is a discussion, even though our practice is not that way, but there is a discussion about, well, let's say there is no Kohen. Do you give a Levi first? So we do. We could. You don't have to. You don't have to, but you could. And I think actually that the Bartanura brings down that some say no Kohen, you don't call the Levi. At all.
You knew somebody who...
So okay, next. Next example is, now again, these are going to be very different cases. The next case is the following. Next case is regarding making an Erev Chatzeres. So a little introduction. When more than one house opens into a shared courtyard, it is forbidden by rabbinic decree to carry on Shabbos from the houses to the courtyard and vice versa. Even if the courtyard is fully enclosed, it's a Rishus HaYachid. Nonetheless, since it is somewhat publicly used, resembles Rishus HaRabim, and therefore you may not transport something to it or from it into your house. However, the residents of the courtyard can avoid this prohibition by making an Erev Chatzeres, which would translate as merging of the courtyards. That is, they take a loaf of bread that is jointly owned by all the residents and place it in one of the houses. Or they can all give food, whatever it is. All the courtyard's residents are thus deemed to have the same place of residence, and the entire courtyard with all its houses provides a single private domain in which carrying is permitted everywhere. Meaning, if let's say you have a situation where you have one house up into a courtyard, One house, finished. The whole courtyard is one house leading into the courtyard. That one person doesn't have to do anything. It's only when you have at least two people. So by going ahead and making the Erev, all the courtyards residents are deemed to have the same place of residence. It's like everybody's living together in the same place. And it's one residence open to the courtyard. No problem now carrying. So the Mishnah says like this. The Mishnah says, The Erev is always put in the old house. That is, they had put their Erev bread in a certain person's house in the past. They must continue to put it there and not in another's house. It was always in this person's house. It was established to be in this person. This is what they did. They put it in this person's house. I don't know how long it has to be that they put it in the person's house, but in the house that they, in the past, what the past exactly means, again, how do you measure that? How many times? How long? I'm not sure. But once it has been put in that person's house in the past, they must continue to put it there and not decide, okay, this week we're going somewhere else. Why? They dark shalom. The law was enacted for the sake of peace. If people see that the Erev bread is missing from its normal place, they will suspect others of carrying in the courtyard without an Erev, and this will lead to arguments. Meaning, somebody's going to see, being in the house is usually there, no Erev there. Oh, there was no Erev made. And then he's going to say there's no Erev. No, it's in the other house. And that can lead to arguments, and therefore the halacha is, and again, the Chachamim instituted, once in the past it was put in one house, that is where it stays. Okay, we will stop here and continue tomorrow, Mitzvah Shem.
So they don't get into complications. Oh, thank you, Rabbi.